Welcome, everyone, to Beating the Summer Slide, a community blueprint. I am Dr. Cheryl Harris Curtis from Fruition Educational Consulting. Before we begin, I want to give a special thanks to Awaken Spiritual Community. I want to acknowledge something right out of the gate. It is June. It has been a long, demanding school year for our kids, our teachers, and let's be completely honest, you as parents and community leaders. You might be feeling a bit burned out, and the last thing you need or you want is adding a third shift to your day. Take a breath. Today is not about turning your living room into a rigid classroom. It's about small, intentional, low-cost ways we can lock in on our children's success. You are here because you care deeply about our youth, and I honor your time. Let's take a quick pulse. I want everyone to take a few minutes and think about this question. What percentage of school year learning do you think the average student loses over a single summer break? Is it 5%, 10%, 20%? Think about that number and keep that number in your head. The phenomenon we are going to talk about today is formally known as summer slide. Simply put, it is the measurable loss of academic skills and knowledge that occurs when children are out of school during June, July, and August. It's like training for a marathon for 9 months and then sitting on the couch for 3 months. The muscles naturally begin to atrophy. To show you just how critical this issue is on a national scale, I want to play a brief, high-impact news clip. This is an NBC News feature anchored by Brian Williams. It perfectly sets the stage for the urgency of what we're about to discuss. It sets the stage for what we're up against. Let's watch it together.
Let's look at two children, one from a middle-income family, the other from one of the millions of low-income American families. As the two kids head off to kindergarten, look what happens. The middle-income child starts out with a 6-month lead. The low-income child is already falling behind because of a lack of access to early reading and preschool education. During their year in kindergarten, in the same school and classroom, the two children will learn at about the same rate, so we'll move them both forward 9 months. But look what happens in that first summer between kindergarten and first grade. Our middle-income child moves ahead about a month in reading because learning of one kind or another continues over the summer. The low-income child falls back about 2 months. So when school begins again, when they go back for first grade, the gap between them has already widened. During first grade, again, they move ahead at about the same rate, another 9 months. That next summer, the activities and lifestyle of the middle-income family keep that child moving forward, but the low-income child has fewer opportunities to reinforce good habits like reading, and that child falls farther behind. Then we come to second grade, and again, our two children learn at the same rate. But the summer after second grade sets our low-income child back again, and our middle-income child moves forward again, and the gap widens again. By just the third grade, the two children are already far apart. By the end of fifth grade, the gap between the children is 2.5 to 3 years. It will keep growing through middle school. So you see, without addressing what's happening during the summer, it is impossible to ever catch up. It's impossible to close the gap. No matter how much high-quality learning goes on from September to June, every year the gap widens.
The key takeaway from that clip is chilling. Summer loss isn't just a temporary setback, it accumulates year after year, quietly widening the achievement gap before a child even steps foot into a middle school. Let's look at the hard data. Studies show that over the summer, the average student loses 17 to 28% of their school year literacy gains. Now go back to when I asked you to think about what that summer loss could be. Did you give a number between 17% to 28% of their school year literacy gains? But let's take a look at math. It's even steeper. Students lose 25% to 35% of their math gains. When you translate these percentages into time, it means that when your child walks into their new classroom in September, 2 to 3 months of core math and reading skills have completely vanished. They are starting the year backwards. This creates what I call the teacher burden. Because so many students slide backwards, teachers cannot just start the school year at the new grade level curriculum on day one. They typically have to spend the first 4 to 6 weeks simply reteaching forgotten material from the previous year. That is a month and a half of lost forward momentum for the entire class. And if we don't intervene early, the snowball effect takes over. By the time a student reaches the 9th grade, over 2/3 of the reading achievement gap between lower income students and their peers can be traced back directly to cumulative learning loss suffered during the elementary school summer months. It is a slow leak that creates a massive flood later on. Financially, it costs our educational system roughly $1,500 per student annually just in remedial resources to catch our students back up. Now, these are national averages, but this just isn't a national issue. It's a local one. In our own town, we have to look at resource access. Do all our neighborhoods have a library within walking distance? Are our local community centers funded for summer programs? When we have neighborhoods without easy access to books or safe educational spaces, we create a local resource desert. That is where our community and our churches must step up to bridge the gap. Again, I want to emphasize us establishing urgency. If you look at the screen, it says summer loss accumulates year after year, quietly widening the academic gap before a child even steps foot into middle school. So let's shift gears. Some believe, and I've said it, but it bears repeating, summer slide only affects reading skills while math skills stay relatively stable because numbers don't change. This is a myth. As we saw in the statistics, math skills actually decline more sharply and consistently across the board because kids are rarely exposed to natural mathematical structures at home the same way that they are to words. Let's think back to last September. Did you notice a lag in your child or a neighbor, grandchild, cousin's routine, their focus or their confidence? What are your biggest personal hurdles to keeping students academically engaged in July? Be honest about your struggles. I hope that these conversations that we have are validating. Now we got to put on our problem-solving hats. What can parents easily do in the kitchen, the backyard, or the car? How can our local churches use their existing spaces, volunteers, and summer programs to help? What can local libraries, parks, and small businesses do to support families? Remember, we want low-cost, high-impact ideas. No massive budgets are allowed. We can summarize some of the accessible strategies that we can share with our networks. Here on the screen are some resources that I'm providing for you. Please take a picture of this screen so that you can refer to it later. Some things we can do is establish at your home the 20-minute rule. Reading just 4 to 6 books over the summer can completely halt reading declines. I said it, 4 to 6 books over the summer. And remember, graphic novels, comic books, and audiobooks absolutely count as active literacy. There's everyday environmental reading. Have your younger kids read the cereal boxes. Do people still do cereal boxes? Well, anyway, if you do or you don't, we did cereal boxes when I was coming. But have them read the cereal boxes or the road signs aloud during traffic jams. And we know in Charlotte there's a lot of traffic jams. And what about the kitchen, folks? Bring those kiddies in the kitchen with you, and you can double or half baking recipes with your kids that forces them to practice fractions without it feeling like a workshop. A worksheet too. As we wrap up our time together, I want to make sure you don't leave here empty. Again, make sure you take a picture of the resources that are on the screen so you can refer to them later. But again, you can make sure that you go and find the guide to your local library so you learn the hours and see if they have any official summer reading challenges. There are curated lists of 100% free educational tools like Khan Academy and PBS Kids. And you can always find online printable summer contract templates where parents and kids can mutually agree to read 15 minutes a day in exchange for a simple weekend reward like an extra trip to the park. Before you log off, before you leave me, I want everyone to make a personal commitment to encourage reading. If I can assist in any way, here is my contact information on the screen. Reach out to me directly and I'll be glad to help you in any way I can. I want to thank you all for your incredible energy and your dedication to keeping our students sliding forward into success rather than backward. Again, I want to thank Awaken Spiritual Community. I am Dr. Cheryl Harris Curtis from Fruition Educational Consulting. Have a wonderful summer and let's keep working together. Thank you.